back into here. All right. Let's review some rounding and multiplication. If you're not on mute, please go on mute. Okay. All right. Vanessa, do you still see my whiteboard? I was moving some things around. You give me a thumbs up? Awesome. Okay, so what we are going to review today is rounding, first and foremost. Okay, and rounding is a great way of estimating. If you know what estimating means, it means to kind of get a rough idea of what it is, but not the exact idea. So rounding to a certain value to make it easier for us to remember, something along those lines. Also, I see a few of you taking notes, which is great. If you have pencil and paper, please be sure to have it out because I want you to follow along with me. So rounding, in the number of the day assignment, you covered rounding to the nearest 10 and then rounding to the nearest 100. So let's first start with rounding to the nearest 10. Okay. Let's take 17, for example. Okay. If you wanted to round 17 to the nearest 10, it takes a couple steps to get there. First, I like to underline what we're working with. If we're rounding to the nearest 10, I will underline the 10 value, just so I remember, okay, this is what I'm working with here. Our job here is to, if we're going to do a number line, take, okay, what's the 10 value that's above and below this, first and foremost? Okay, well, if we look at this 10 value here, we have a 1, so we know above it is a 2, and since we're working in between 20 and 10, we round down to 10 here. So we have 10 on the that kind of circle the value of 17. Next thing that we need to find the midpoint. Okay, the midpoint between 10 and 20, it's exactly halfway, is 15. And the reason why this is important is because if the number is at 15 or above, we round up. And if it's below that value, below the midpoint, then we round down. Natalie and Angel, do you have questions? Let's go Natalie first, since I saw her hand first.
I can't see your screen on the bottom, your whiteboard.
Okay, I haven't got there yet. I'll move it up when I get there.
No, like I can see everybody else, but like nothing else.
You can see what, but nothing else?
Everybody else.
But not my board?
No.
I can see your board fine on my screen.
Okay. Natalie, I'm recording this, so if you're having trouble seeing it, I'm sorry right now. Just try to follow along, and I'll post it online later today, okay? Okay, great. Angel, did you have a question? All right, doesn't look like it. Okay, so our job here, remember we have the 10 above and below. So 10 and 20, we have our midway point, our midpoint here at 15. Now our job is to put 17 on that board. Okay, well, we know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points between this, and our job is to place it in one of those points. We can count up 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I know that 17 is right here, and our rule was if it's at 15 or above, we round up. Well, according to our number line, 17 is above 15, so we'll take that and we'll round it up. So 17 rounded to the nearest 10 equals 20. Okay, now let's look at one more. Let's take to the nearest 100 now. So if we did 216 to the nearest 100, okay, just like up here, sorry, there's a little bit of a glare right underneath the light. But up here, when you're rounding to the nearest 10, I underline the 10's value. Okay. Over here, when we're rounding to the nearest 100, it's the same story. but we just underline the hundreds value because that's what we're looking at here. Okay, so now if we're going to do our number line again, okay, we have our top and our bottom. Let me see. Alex is coming in. Let me let him join. Okay, so we're looking for the hundreds above and below 216. Well, the number above 2 is 3, so we have 300 up here. And then since 216 is close to 200, that's the next value down, then the 100 below is 200. All right, our midway point is 250 because that is halfway between 300 and 200. It's right smack dab in the middle. And this is our reference point, our point that we're going to use to help us determine if it's going up or down, just like 15, because that was the midway point up here. So if it's at 250 or above, it's going to round to 300. And if it's below 250 or between 200 and 249, it'll round down to 200. Okay, I could mark out every single mark on here, but that's quite a bit. I guess you could do by tens if you would like to. Maybe I'll do that. So 210, 220, 230, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So each of those marks are now tens for counting by tens. 216 is pretty close to 200. And in fact, it's between 210 and 220 right there. So that's about 216 right there. Okay, well, we know it's below 249, or at least below 250, because that's our midway point. And we said anything below that mark is going to round back down. So it's going to round down to 200. Okay, this is stuff that you should have covered with Mrs. Thornton last year, but I wanted to at least give it a few minutes of my time here in class today. So if you were stuck on that portion of the assignment yesterday, here's your chance for a little bit of a review. Are there any questions? Any questions on rounding or on the number of the day assignment from yesterday?
No.
All right. Well, I'm going to erase my board. If you were following along and taking these notes on a piece of paper, great job. If you weren't, I would encourage you to do so in this next part. And I would encourage you also to rewatch the video on Class Dojo a little bit later so that you can copy those notes down or at least get a review of that understanding. All right, so now the next piece and final piece of what we're going to talk about is multiplying. So multiplication. I might need to lower that light or something. It's kind of blocking it. So with multiplication, you can think of it as adding groups. And when we were doing 4 4s, you guys were doing great with 4 times 4. But I want to make sure that you have a good understanding of what it means to actually multiply something. So if we think of 3 times 2, okay, that might be something that you can do in your head, and that's awesome. But I want to break this down into what it actually means to multiply 3 times 2. So you can think of 3 times 2 as 3 groups of 2. Okay, we can even draw a picture of it. We can go there's one group of 2, there's another group of 2, and another group of 2. And really all multiplication is just adding in a pattern. Okay, we have 2 here in that group, and we're adding 2 more there from that group, and 2 more there from that group. So when you have 2 plus 2 plus 2, it gives you 6 in total. Okay, so like I said, multiplication is just adding in a pattern. You're adding 2 plus 2 plus 2. The cool thing about multiplication is that you can do it in opposites. You can do the reverse of the problem and it's still the same thing. So if we wanted to write 2 times 3, we could have 2 groups of 3, right? We have one group of 3 right there, another group of 3 right here. I'll even circle for you. Almost looks like peas in a pod. So we have 3 plus 3 equals 6. Oh, there we go. Okay, so 3 plus 3 equals 6, or 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. The nice thing about multiplication is that you can go back and forth. You can change the order of them. Okay, any questions on this one? We're going to do one more example, and then I'll give you a chance to work. Okay, I don't see any other hands. Oh, Angel, go for it.
I can't see your screen.
You can't see my whiteboard?
No, I only see Abasai.
You just see Abasai? Lisa,
Me
can you
too.
still see my screen?
What?
Yeah, I can still see it.
Lisa can? Okay, can you guys give me a thumbs up if you see my screen? I know Lisa can, Miss Eddie. Okay, Abasai can. Okay, like I said, Angel, I will post this video online later today. Okay, and my screen is being recorded.
And your board's up.
Okay, one more example. Let's do 5 times 3. So that is, like I said, 5 groups of 3. That's a 3 there. It's an ugly 3, but it's a 3. I'm going to just restart on that. All right, 5 groups of 3. So if we have 1 group of 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can treat it as an addition problem where we're adding the same thing each time. So we have 5 groups of 3. So we have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, which is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So 15 in total. Okay, like I said earlier, you can swap these around, and the nice thing is it'll still be the same thing. So let's go ahead and do that. 3 times 5. So that's 3 groups of 5. So here's 1 5, 2 5, and 3 5s. Okay, so there's 5 here. We're adding 5 more to it, and we're adding 5 more to that, which equals 5, 10, 15. 15 in total. So we got the same answer, no matter which way we put these. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, I'm going to pause the recording. Let me go back over here and stop the recording.